Welcome to the Career Oyster podcast. I am Howard Caddy, founder and head coach of Career Oyster. In this podcast series, we are talking to owners and CEOs of recruiting and staffing and search firms to get their perspectives on the marketplace, the potential changes, etc., in view of the economy, AI, as well as other technical trends, and how they are preparing also to meet these challenges. Today, my guest is David Pomeroy, CEO and founder of Nylon Search, a specialized staffing company emphasizing efficiency, quality for the top 5% talent and for rapidly scaling companies. His priority is go-to-market people as well as data niches, and they are located in New York City. David, welcome to the meeting today.
Thank you, Howard. How are you? Nice to be on the podcast.
Good. Why don't you introduce yourself and enhance that description of your company, that snippet?
Thank you. Yeah, we'll do. So I'm the founder and CEO of Nylon Search. We are a boutique leadership search firm. We specialize functionally in helping high growth and also enterprise scale companies with GTM, so revenue operations, product, data, marketing, and finance professionals. So really the commercial core of most businesses. We are a boutique firm, so we're very hands-on, sort of white glove, search-led business, and all of our searches are partner-led searches. So we provide pretty sort of white glove service for our clients.
Good. That was makes you unique. And you said go to market. Will you elaborate on that for our audience?
Yeah, so go to market is really anything driving sort of revenue, so sales, marketing, customer success primarily, but also can include products. But it's really kind of what clients are using people for to help them go to market. So drive revenue, scale products, drive marketing, brand, messaging.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I hadn't seen that niche in too many places, so I think you're onto a good specialty there. I've done the sales and I've done marketing and I've done other things, but I've never looked at it as a little bit of an umbrella, go to market, and then deal with it that way. Yeah,
it's kind of it's a kind of the buzzword of the last few years, really.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So it's the revenue side of it, and I like that. All right. So tell me what is there? Did I also see you mentioning embedded recruiting or anything else in that?
So we provide recruitment to clients based on state of company, their needs, how much hiring they're doing. Typically we'll offer a contingent-based search model, which is fairly widespread across the recruitment industry. We also do a more retained model, which is for more likely confidential or very senior executive level searches. We can also do an embedded search model, which is really, we can provide a monthly sort of contract recruiting service to clients, whether it's 1 day a week or 2 days a week, depending on the number of roles that they have open and the amount of growth that they're going through. That helps clients have a dedicated recruiter. We act as like an in-house recruiter, but with more of an external search firm expertise, without them having to pay a full year's overhead for a recruiter if they don't necessarily have a full year's worth of recruiting ahead.
All right. When we spoke, you have roots in the UK, the mother country.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, you can tell, right?
Hey, well, the Prince did a great job recently. Anyhow, or the King, I'm sorry, the King. So anyhow, I would tell us a little bit of where your business is focused. Is it mostly U.S. at this point in time?
It's all US. So Nylon Search is a play on New York and London. That's really more of a founder-led story. Obviously I'm from London, the UK. I'm firmly based here in the US now. I've been here for the last 16 years. The business really focuses on US search. We're based in New York. A lot of our clients are in New York and the tri-state, so New York, New Jersey, even Philadelphia or Pennsylvania. But a lot of our clients, they have offices and presence in the big cities, whether that's New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco. So we'll basically recruit from New York for the US, predominantly in the major metropolitan areas.
So let's talk about a couple of trends, et cetera, from your perspective when you look at revenue generation and scaling, right? That's the big area that seems to be getting everything. How does AI and what other trends are impacting you and the opportunities that you're seeing for candidates?
Well, in terms of the market, we're in an innovation economy, especially with AI. That's really driving every corporate entity, whether they are startup, Series A through Series D, or established enterprises scaling or transforming. Everything's going through transformation at the moment. All businesses are implementing AI. So really, the whole market right now is centered around AI. What's happening? What can it do for a business? How can it streamline processes? How can it reduce costs? How can it make, increase speed to market? The whole market everywhere is centered around AI. I think everybody's feeling it, everybody's seeing it. So with that, the hiring market is really kind of, focused on, companies are focused on high quality, fewer but higher quality searches, which can enable them to, carry out these transformations, implement AI, and drive a business forward and sort of stay ahead of the market.
Yeah, have you seen any decline in job? You at the search level, maybe not, but in the general market of New York, and I've heard it was booming. It's still booming. How do you feel about it?
There is a lot of activity, but it's more focused. Volume hiring is gone. Nobody's hiring volume, especially junior level candidates. Of course, there's always a demand, but the market shifted away from volume, junior entry level type candidates to fewer, higher sort of precision focused search mandates, where the business really needs people to come in and help them implement and scale their products, platforms, scale products, grow revenue. But people who can, are outcomes based, people who can actually, come into a business, know what needs to be done and how to produce a result, rather than someone who can come in and sit there and efficiently manage a process.
Yeah, I remember a comment we initially had was about everybody's going toward AI, but maybe it's not as fast, or the adoption may be a little slower than we all predict. What was the point you made to me on that?
I think that's related to the recruitment industry. The adoption of AI is happening at a rapid pace.
Okay.
It's not, in terms of what people want AI to do for the businesses, I think there's still a little way to go. AI is not perfect. AI makes mistakes. Even if you're in, an end user sitting at home on your laptop in a ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, putting prompts in, trying to get output, trying to get, copy, or trying to get presentations, or trying to, analyze information. It makes mistakes. It also is still very much an AI system or machine, so it's not human. So you can't just take AI outputs and just sort of put it out there without an element of human. You've got to basically read through it, check it, analyze it, cross-reference it, put it into human context. So it's not there yet. It is rapidly, growing and improving, and it's going to get there eventually. But I do think that there's some, big limitations in terms of what it can actually do for a business by itself without having, human people, employees managing it and managing the output and putting that into, digestible, real, tangible, accurate human content.
Yeah, that seems to be the general trend. And question then is, on the job search market, where will they, because the resumes, a whole lot of them look alike, because they use the AI to get the resumes, right?
A lot of people are now, yeah.
And therefore they all look the same. So that's going to create some resistance a little bit. I think
So yeah,
not at your level, but at the general market. And I think also the number of people that are, a lot of it, the AI might do a lot more of the evaluation and the screening, and it might also do, a little bit more about the where they go looking for people. So I
right.
think there's a lot of changes where the openings are fewer, the hiring managers are going to use it, some of it for evaluation, and there's going to be a little bit of resistance because they won't be able to if all the resumes start looking too similar. So anyhow,
Right. I think, yeah, that's a great point, Howard. I mean, where AI is now in general business, whether it's in a fintech who's trying to embed finance into, another company, whether it's an ad tech company trying to measure marketing, attribution, or, a SaaS company trying to measure the impact of messaging. AI is being built into these processes in a big way, and to a certain extent, yes, it's having a huge impact and benefit for these companies and end clients. But what AI is doing for these businesses is measuring actual, tangible, hard data in most cases, or transferring it, or integrating it, or protecting it. But with recruitment, we're not dealing with data, we're not dealing with product, we're dealing with people. And I think that's always going to be the core difference between what AI can do for a company, a product or a platform or a service versus what it can do, in terms of recruiting people. An AI can't just look at a person and look at a LinkedIn's profile and, understand what that person wants to do, what that person, why that person wants to move to a new company, what drives that person, what do they like, so it's really hard. I think there's going to be a gap there still for a few years, and you really need that sort of empathy, ability to, the emotional intelligence of human-led consultancy style recruitment and search in the business. AI can only go so far at the moment, and probably I would foresee for at least 2-3 more years, because humans are complicated people, complicated beings. It's not just a data set or a number, or it's just a different platform.
Well, in the end, it's still going to come down to some chemistry in those interviews.
There has to be, yeah.
The chemistry is the issue, and that's the human element that's really key.
Right.
Even if there's a saying that I always use, that the most qualified person doesn't get the job. It's the person that interviews the best. And 20% of the time, it might be the most qualified person.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely experience and qualification, but yeah, you're not far wrong there. There's a lot of the times, at least, it's 30, 40, 50%. Chemistry, mission fit. Are they aligned to the business? Have they seen similar businesses before? What do they do for that business? Is that transferable to the new business? There's so many intangibles, and until we've each got an AI chip implanted in our foreheads that can read each other's minds, there's going to be a gap. There's going to be a gap between what AI can do in a product or a platform, or what it can do in recruitment.
And I would assume you also you alluded to it already. You have to find out what the person wants to do, and et cetera.
Yeah,
There's a lot of personal elements in it.
Absolutely.
One of the things that we talked about a little bit when we first introduced ourselves was you put together this salary survey.
Right.
Right? And tell us a little bit about that, because I like that concept for a lot of reasons, and I used it way back in the 80s when I was building business. Tell us a little bit about what you did and why, and how you intend to use it maybe in today's market.
Well, actually, some search firms do salary surveys. We hadn't done one until a couple of years ago. One of our good clients reached out to me and had a very sort of niche, bespoke role that he was thinking about recruiting for. And he asked me what I thought the salary level should be for it. So I did some research, and I got back to him with some information where we thought that should come in. And then I thought, you know what, people want this. The market's changing so much in the last 5 years, so much inflation, there's been so much movement in terms of salaries. There's new roles coming out, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to put together this salary guide, and so we can send that to all of our clients. With that guide, we cover the sort of niche, the four sort of niche areas, 3 or 4 areas that we sort of specialize in. So obviously, functionally, go-to-market, product, data, finance, the commercial core, but also the sectors. We wanted to provide some coverage for the main sectors that we specialize in. So that's fintech, financial services, technology as well, which is the 2 sort of things: ad tech, digital marketing, and SaaS companies. So we really put that together to benefit our clients and really benefit anybody out there who needs some tangible information on where these salaries are at, because they just keep going up and up and changing. The roles are changing, so we just wanted to add some value there for our clients.
When you don't maintain a heavy database, I don't believe, in your business, do you?
We have a database of candidates that we know and have been working with over the last 10 years. So we do have direct access, those candidates' data in our system. We don't actually maintain a formal database in terms of just throw all the candidates in, just upload the resumes. We just want to gather as much data as we can, because what we find generally is the companies that we work with and the type of searches and roles that we work on are generally always very specific. It's actually a lot of people, this is a misconception actually, with more of a boutique search firm, it's actually not that common that we will go back to a similar search that we worked on with a different client and find a candidate for a new client along those lines, because we find every search is just so niched in terms of, okay, skill set is one thing, but all companies are doing something slightly different, even to performance marketing agencies. They work with different platforms, different DSPs. So if somebody wants to hire a programmatic director at one agency, the next agency's programmatic director role might be something slightly different. More people to manage, different DSPs. They're also different. So we find our value add is ability to use our big network of candidates that we've developed over the last 10 years in all these roles and niches, and be able to reach out to people very quickly, the right people, identify people with the right skill sets, and bring fresh, new candidates who might not have been on the market 3 years ago to our clients, who typically most of the search firms or recruiters won't reach.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that is, it's a little more targeted, and the reality is, every search being unique requires a different approach. And in today's world, you can certainly get at them different ways between the common ones like LinkedIn, but you also have a lot of just uh, AI. I know an AI company is listing. You could do AI searches and find people anywhere you need them.
Right. You
So
can. I mean, AI, yeah,
basically, AI becomes a large database of people.
it does. And, AI is helpful. We do use that. We don't let AI run by itself yet, but we do use it as an extra channel.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, to target people. Um, I think also it'd be a great opportunity for your marketing to go out to these companies with the salary survey information. I think that's good. We used it for both the candidates and the market and the clients, so I'm sure
Yeah.
you could use that, etc. Um, in terms, I think we talked about the job seeking. The job seekers. What's your feedback from a lot of the people at the upper levels of how competitive it is right now and how difficult it is to find jobs or get to the jobs?
It's in the more senior level roles, there are fewer roles. I mean, that's also changing at the moment. But typically and traditionally, there's always more analyst level roles versus managing director level roles. It's just the way businesses are structured, of course. So there's fewer roles, but the very high caliber candidates are the ones that we are obviously targeting because those are the ones that our clients want to hire. So the strong candidates, the very strong candidates, are in demand. So it's a strange market where it's both a company-driven market and a candidate-driven market for the good candidates. So it's still a kind of a pretty tricky market. There's high competition for the good people, and there's fewer roles for candidates generally. So yeah, it's definitely a tough market to navigate for companies and even recruiters to a certain extent.
At this point, is there any other growth strategies you have that you're going to do for this year? And are you worried about the economic factors besides the impact of AI, which we spoke about?
That's a very good question, Howard. I don't think anyone really knows what's going on economically at the moment. All we know is there's this huge innovation going on in the market with the implementation of AI. A lot of companies. I think that's really driving a lot of growth, but in the right places. You've got to look in the right places. I do think the market is picking up now. The last 2 years have been a little bit sluggish. But we are seeing increased activity from clients, not just high growth, but also established companies who they might be replacing somebody. That's always going to happen at senior level. In terms of it's hard to really predict what's going on. There's a lot of turmoil in the market, but I think the first couple, 2-3 years of this huge push of AI and big tech laying off a lot of workers and spending billions and billions on AI technologies. I think that's going to level out in the next 12 months in terms of companies are then going to start to understand what they need from a human capital perspective and start hiring it. I think right now it's a kind of replace processes, and then in a year it's going to be get people in to build these processes out, make them better, make them more efficient,
Right.
and scale products, drive revenue. So yeah, I think the market is starting to stabilize, and it's just been reshaping. And I think any time that the market changes, there's like a mini revolution going on, similar to the dot-com bubble, and people even say similar to the Industrial Revolution. But so yeah, I think it's starting to stabilize. Now people are starting to understand what AI can do for them, and then who they need to come in and manage AI.
Yeah, I remember in 2009 when Lehman and them went through their issue, and
Yeah.
it was a big recession and a lot of unemployment. And I think that's the only caution that a lot of jobs are going to really change and people are going to have to transition. What advice have you been given to people that are in an industry that might be really impacted, and even people you're just talking to? Maybe you can't place them, but you talk to people, and what
Yeah.
advice how they can make transitions going forward?
I do think it's tough for a lot of people. There's a lot of change happening, and a lot of roles are being automated. It's a tough market. My only advice really is, and to a certain extent, all companies are doing this anyway. So I think as a, for you as a person in a career or in a job niche or with a skill set, you have to really look at ways to keep up with what's happening. Even if that's becoming really proficient with, ChatGPT, Gemini, understanding how to prompt, understanding how to use that, even just at a basic level. I think you just have to have you just have to be thinking of ways which you can stay current, enhance your existing skill set, because ultimately, the job market's changing. It's similar to, and we mentioned this on a previous call. People used to have fax machines in offices. Right, this is before the internet. People used to have these great big computer screens on their desks, and people just adapted. People learned how to, what an email is. What's an email? People learn how to use the internet. People just adapted. So I think to a certain extent, there's so much unknown at the moment, but in another couple of years, AI is just going to become like the internet. Everybody knows how to use it, at a level enabling them to use it in the company. And there's going to be obviously, highly technical people who know how to, build it, scale it. But I think it's just going to become part of everyone's everyday work life. So I think there's just a lag time between what's happening now and the majority of the workforce catching up to, where it's going to be in a couple of years.
Did you have you don't deal on since you're mostly in the search and the white glove area where you work on specific assignments, you don't see the problem of too many candidates applying for jobs, and there's hundreds of them, and it creates like a traffic jam. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, AI, there's going to be teething issues, right? In recruitment, there's definitely a lot of problems with AI generated resumes hitting the market, and AI screening technologies, which a lot of bigger companies are spending and implementing into their systems to screen resumes, to make that end of the top of funnel more efficient for their recruiters. But what we're seeing there, and we've written an article about this, it's like an AI on AI talent war, right? So we've got AI resumes with AI screening systems, trying to analyze each other. The resumes are trying to get through, and the screening systems are trying to filter. So really, it's causing a lot more noise in the market. And really, what we do, we want to really bring signal, like true signal, talent signal. We filter all that out, and help companies be more efficient. We'll see what happens, but at the moment there's a lot of noise out there. To a certain extent, AI in recruiting is probably creating less efficiency until the AI can get better. We're not quite there yet, but there's a lot of noise as a result.
That's a good way of looking at it.
AI. Recruiters do like to see resumes formatted in a certain way to make it very easy for them to, see where a person's worked, see how long they've been there, see what their role is. But, right now, I'd say there's a lot of inefficiency happening.
I think that because these problems will be solved, and all of a sudden the way resumes are written and presented, I think is going to change. And it's got to change to be a lot more in terms of your transferable skills in your career and your capabilities that you're able to do, as well as your knowledge, as well as what you want to do, are all going to come into play because the technology is there and people can adapt to that quickly. But the key is, do you want to do that job, and are you capable of doing that job, and be effective at it? And of course, there's some background required. But if they're going to transition and my industry goes dead, then I have to make that transition, and it'll be a good challenge for a lot of people to be adaptable. Would you?
Right. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. You know, I don't know how much and when resumes will change. At some point, there will be a whole different process for screening and applying and screening for jobs.
Yes.
But right now, you know, you need candidate adoption as well. You know, candidates need to want to be processed by an AI at the top of funnel level to get through the system, because you know, if you've just got an AI person or bot interviewing somebody for the first screen, you know, you really got to have a human-led process with recruitment until you get to the point where we're not even recruiting humans anymore. While you're still recruiting humans, you know, that person needs to feel, you know, seen, you know, appreciated, you know, empathized with. But you know, I don't think many people just want to be screened by an AI bot or pretend AI person on the screen and not really understand where that message is going.
Yeah, you might see a little of that on the front end, but there is a resistance to it. But I've seen it being in process for the last 10 years, and it gets a lot of resistance now, but it'll have to die down somewhat.
It will, but I think what companies need to get right with AI and recruitment is you need the AI to be human led. So it needs to focus on the human aspect rather than the process. So far too much AI in recruitment at the moment is just process driven, but you can't process people. People don't want to be processed. You know, people want to be part of a brand, part of a mission. They want to be liked. They want to be appreciated.
That's
they
right.
want to have their skill set recognized. So you know, there's a big disconnect there at the moment. At some point, it will get better, but we're not there yet.
Well, I think thank you for the time and for the
Thanks, Howard.
insights that you've given us. Why don't you, if people would like to reach you, especially in your tri-state area, executives that are in the revenue side of the world and in the go-to-market type of world, and would like to at least get into your connected network, how would they reach you? From an email and website, et cetera? Let them know how to reach you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn, David Pomeroy, or you can search for Nylon Search, or you could email me directly at david@nylonsearch.com. We're actually working on a new website, so we're rebuilding the website, tweaking the branding a little bit, not too far away from what it is now. So that should be released in the next 2 to 3 weeks as well.
Good for you. Well, thank you for your time, and I look forward to having another interaction soon. And,
Thank you, Howard. It's been a pleasure.
Howard.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Okay, and thank to our audience. Thank you for listening. And this is Howard Caddy with Career Oyster. Take care.
Thank you.